Oh, Matthew, could you please warm up the bottle of mixed chicken shit I've put in there? I also brought my own personal polio marshmallows, pathogen biscuits, because I have a debate with the CDC about the bird flu, and I'm absolutely sure that they cannot cross over to the human blood barrier. So going on patrol and stick highly pressurized industrial-grade vacuum shafts in chickens, they're their ass, and collected for a poultry cappuccino. And I don't mind being my own proof of concept. If I need a moment with myself in serenity to take a break from all of life, its stresses and compulsive, out-of-control masturbation events that get you institutionalized before you even have a capability to explain why you try to spike that girl her drink with contaminated seminal fluid off a infected cow that has mad cow's disease, that get you institutionalized before you even have a capability to explain why you try to spike that girl her drink with contaminated seminal fluid from a infected cow that has mad cow's disease. And if she would have contracted the irreversible disease because of the mad seminal fluid in her drink, technically I spiked it. But contracting it is probability. It's the reason why you try to impose a air forcible, devastating, lethal disease onto an individual without looking at it as a human guinea pig. You could learn valuable information from about completely dismember, fucked her limbs clean off, and beat her rigor mortis at its own game. Hey, yo, Bobby, where is inflatable Marlies with her inflatable menstrual cycle set? That is bought separately. I really love this kind of ingenuity of people with sex toys and really push it to the level about like pizza, a lot of toppings you can add on for a better flavor profile, and therefore an experience to be lingering on your mind that inflating bleeding tampons is just a normal item you can add to your perverted shopping cart these days. What a world we fucking right, Bob. Hey, I asked you. Come on, Martin, I give him back. Just go and passively rub your nutsack against the butt crack of an orangutan if you desperately want to have scrotum lice crawling on your balls. But you have to give mine back. I've raised them from infancy. Yeah, right, ransom. What I will give you is 10 seconds to change your mind in giving them back to me peacefully, or I will find out where your toddler goes to. School kick him in my car like a ball with iron boots, and I will weld his tear canal shut. I will take him back home with me, and I will jump on his stomach like a bouncing castle until his stomach ruptures open. Instead of using a knife surgically to get inside his belly, I would just take my time and even drag him to my stairs and jump from higher and higher on him until I can see his intestines fly out of his ass. I will bring him to an underground surgeon, pay heavily, and order him to open. Your boy put a fire ant colony right on the bleeding organs and then stitch him back up. Or better yet, I will take your boy with an open stomach and bring him to one of those heavily occupied bum camps. And I will stand with a megaphone screaming that every bum ridiculous amount of money if they wipe their diseasing cheese layers of their penis on your son, his appendix, and for a additional $1,000, I will let them open mouth kiss your son's eyeballs with their bacterial-infested saliva that you can forget about just getting pink eye, because they will lick eyeballs out your choice. So what will it be, Bob? What will it be? I don't care to what you compare my scrotum lice with. To you, they're just parasites. To me, they're my children. And it doesn't matter how you're looking at it. I've watched them hatch out of their eggs with a magnifying glass. It was a touching moment for me. I micro-photographs of them. So give back Liam Robertson, Patricia Patrick, Kim, Sven, and Swaxpeck Lepsenbrick. You want me to fart a dagger in your heart, or what, Bob? Take me seriously, bro.
President Trump is so desperate for acknowledgement and praise for anything, and everything he expected to be admired for whatever little accomplishment he managed to pull. For example, one day the cabinet meeting, he interrupted the lecture about our strategical interests when he was the first one to spot himself that more than just a gust of stench flew out of his ass with that last fart he let rip. When he was the first one to spot himself that more than just a gust of stench flew out of his ass with that last fart he let rip, and he wanted us to go around the room and acknowledge just how much of a real Spider-Man he actually was by sensing it first. And he gave all of us prior to the meeting these Trump praising tokens to award his groundbreaking godlike performance. He even ordered us to print a fictional newspaper called the Trump Gazette, where he, of course, gets to be front page news with articles like Trump has officially defeated the bunch of breadcrumbs that fell passively on his pants while he bit in his sandwich. And then we all go Hazahora, yippee Superman begs Trump to cancel the upcoming boxing match because he has children and they still need a father growing up. Like you would see your daughter playing with Barbie dolls, or there's some with Action Mans. Trump plays with the only friend he has his ego. One time I remembered a very grumpy and a very grudge-holding Trump was absolutely out of it because we failed to recognize that he was waiting for a standing ovation that he didn't receive but expected it because He thought he deserved one. Apparently, he was removing some dirt he had under his fingernails, and the moment we saw a skin flake falling off, and he felt just so victorious, almost like he was a gladiator fighting for his life in the Colosseum. One time I remembered a very grumpy and a very grudge-holding Trump was absolutely out of it because we failed to recognize there was standing ovation he didn't receive, but had some how expected he deserved. Apparently he was removing some dirt he had under his fingernails, and the moment we saw a skin flake falling off and he felt just so victorious, almost like he was a gladiator fighting for life or death in the Colosseum, he felt betrayed not being honored for having defeated a dust particle. And seriously, my nickname for him was the Broccoli Dragon, because whatever he was breathing out of his oxygen tank was almost like a continuous stream of sarin gas, because if that was oxygen you could have fooled me with is polluted air like he had eaten Shrek for dinner or something. And you know, he exaggerates his exaggeration. That's how that man is doing cognitively wise, and it ain't good, not even close. Think about it, nobody can trace back the 8 so-called wars he ended, and of course no real historian or a fact checker can find any records of it, because when you need to understand with Trump is that through the lens of his dysfunctional, overinflated ego, ending a war from his point of view could be in reality not much bigger than coming between some children that were fighting over some candy, and he probably just ended the war because he probably tackled these children to the ground and resolved it by eating the candy himself. And then later on, you remember the taste of the candy and using the sweetness to his advantage to call whatever he did a phenomenal, sweet act of bravery and heroism. I felt like a trapped man who always was in a bathroom stool with a toilet that had a flush button that was disabled, so it was never able to flush down the stench of whatever he had for lunch from 7 years ago. It was actually so bad, I once thought about spraying that man in a Febreze overdose. Trump is a loose cannon with that eye. I mean, he gets aroused from practically anything you can hypothetically come up with. His personal butler, Johan Odenkirk, has quit his job because Trump already got a boner from the job subscription alone. You know, butler, the focus is on the button lure. He jerked himself off while he saw the movie Miss Poppins, for example. Even there is no nudity in that movie or even sexually tinted. He is a little horny man that cannot help but see all things suggestive to be in some form of way arousing to him because of the angles he watches things from. For example, he cannot stomach watching Mary Poppins go up with her umbrella, and from the angle of the video camera looks straight up. And well, of course, that is completely blocked out by the scenery of the cinema. His mind makes it read that, makes Donald Trump already imagine to be able to see underneath her skirt. Donald Trump is not your everyday, average, intellectual, intelligent person. For example, the man doesn't even know what smell perception force is. Hearing what those two things bring to the table, what they remove. Because in this cinema, he was thrown out because he was taking advantage of the dim lighting when the movie starts to be masturbating profusely, because Mary Poppins went rose sky high with the umbrella and his penis as well, and he forgot all about it. You know, the lights may be off, but Uchisa Penis is going to be covering the entire room, and people are looked down on their empty nacho buckets track. And when the movie started, he took advantage of the opportunity. When the movie starts and the lights go off, but whenever the lights go off, people's noses do not. And as always, that was not taken up by the not-so-bright candle in the room, but that did not stop him from trying to masturbate himself some freshly new candle mayonnaise in the process.